A report that the White Sox could have plans to leave Guaranteed Rate Field and possibly even Chicago.
So not just the Bears now, reportedly looking to move. Anthony Ponce is at the ballpark tonight.
Well, Scott and Dawn, whether it's been called Comiskey Park, U.S. Cellular Field, or Guaranteed Rate Field, the White Sox have called 35th Street here in Bridgeport home for well over a century. But the lease for the team at this location expires in 6 years. And according to Crain's Chicago Business, the team's longtime owner, Jerry Reinsdorf, is pondering a move. While Guaranteed Rate Field has never garnered the same kind of love as its predecessor, the old Comiskey, which sat across 35th Street from 1910 through 1990, it is still the home field treasured by Sox fans.
This is a staple. This is historic, just like the Cubs. It's historic, and so you want to make sure this stays.
There's no other fit for it other than the South Side. I mean, the energy, the vibe, just the longevity of how long they've been here, really making an impact in this community and providing an outlet for the folks who live in this part of the neighborhood.
But a new report from Crane says when the team's lease here expires in 6 years, team owner Jerry Reinsdorf is considering moving the team somewhere else in the city, out to the suburbs, or perhaps out of town completely, with Nashville, Tennessee, a location that's been floated. Not surprisingly, that headline was not well received by loyal Southside fans, here to cheer their team on even during a season that's been a struggle.
I love coming here. It'd be a shame if they relocated, especially to the suburbs. I think it's great for the South Side, and I think they should stay.
I think they need to keep their commitment to the South Side and the residents here for the jobs that they create. I think it's been a staple here, and as part of the South Side, I think they should remain here.
It should stay. It's a part of Chicago.
Now, a White Sox spokesperson said in a statement tonight, "We have not had any conversations about our lease situation, but with 6 years remaining, it is naturally nearing a time where discussions should begin to take place. The conversations would be with the city, ISFA, and the state, and most likely would be about visions, opportunities, and the future." We are live tonight in Bridgeport outside Guaranteed Rate Field. Anthony Ponce, Fox 32 Chicago.
Nashville White Sox has no ring to it whatsoever. I'm sorry.
Our children are precious, and they don't deserve that in their school.
Parents in one suburban school district are upset by a recent art teacher hire.
They say social media posts should have prevented the district from hiring the person.
Elizabeth Matthews is live with the latest from Lockport.
According to this art teacher appears to have been hired over the summer. Was supposed to teach art in 4 different elementary schools here in the Homer 33C school district. But today, the first day of classes, art class was canceled.
The school should have done a better job in checking these things.
The first day of school for Homer District 33C tarnished with controversy over a new elementary teacher and social media posts that appear to be connected to him.
I've seen some anti-religious. There's definitely child sacrifice. There was Satan worship.
If he has his lifestyle, so be it. But that is not going to be put onto our children.
Some parents tell Fox 32 safety may be of concern.
At first, I didn't think anything of it. They were talking about religion, and I'm not. You could believe what you want to believe, but then some of the pictures and then some of the. He said he got violent.
They started voicing their concerns this week, but heard nothing from school leaders.
I was angry. I don't feel like any of the concerns or questions that hundreds of parents have been asking have been answered. And I think that that is just to shut us up.
The district did respond Thursday afternoon, the superintendent saying in part, quote, "While the district cannot speak on matters of personnel for individual employees, I do want parents to know that I've heard your concerns, understand the issues highlighted by the community, and am investigating the situation."
He was even hired in the first place, shows that the discernment of the people that hired him needs to be checked.
We reached out to the teacher in question, have not yet heard back with any sort of comment or statement. This is expected to be a hot topic at next week's school board meeting. That's Tuesday at 7 o'clock. Reporting live from Lockport, Elizabeth Matthews, Fox 32, Chicago.
A raucous school board meeting in the southwest suburbs tonight after the hiring of a controversial art teacher. That teacher didn't last long. He's now been fired after parents raised questions about some of his social media posts, which they say involve satanic worship. Tonight, the Homer Community Consolidated School District 33C held a special meeting to allow parents to speak about what happened and voice their frustrations.
Thank you for firing the guy, because that's the first step to fixing this problem.
This hire shows incompetence and negligence. Any board member who voted or admin who advocated for this hire should resign immediately. I don't know how you stay on after this.
Art class was canceled for the first day of school last week because of the parents' concerns. The school board went into closed session, executive session tonight to discuss the teacher's employment status.
And I felt like I did everything right to better myself, for myself and my family.
You were just listening to a Suburban police officer decertified for a crime that she committed 15 years ago.
Those charges were eventually dismissed and vacated, but now she cannot be a police officer.
Yeah, Tia is live with the details. Tia?
Well, Scott and Dawn, let me break this down for you. Zena Ramos, she was decertified by the state. That means she can't be a police officer here in Illinois or the rest of the country. This is for stealing a T-shirt back in 2008, and now she's working a desk job here at the village of Riverside.
I took responsibility for my actions.
Zena Ramos admits 15 years ago she was on the wrong side of the law, but says it made her a better police officer.
Because I can understand what people are going through and I can better relate to them.
Earlier this year, she decided to leave Cicero PD to work in Riverside. On the job 2 months when she was decertified by the Illinois Law Enforcement Training and Standards Board. This letter calls for the governing body to review its decision. It says the board staff discovered Ramos was convicted of retail theft, a decertifiable conviction. Ramos insists the charges were dismissed and vacated.
The incident happened because of a $14.99 situation.
Standing in solidarity with Ramos is State Representative LaShawn Ford and Riverside's Director of Public Safety.
Over the last 15 years, Zena has worked tirelessly to better herself. She has gone to school and studied criminal justice.
Now 38 with 3 children, the Cook County State's Attorney's Office added Ramos to the Do Not Call list, a public database of law enforcement members that can't be called to be witnesses in any cases because of past conduct.
I would like to get my certification back so I can be a police officer.
The Illinois Law Enforcement Training and Standards Board, they won't talk about the charge, but did say this, quote, pursuant to the Police Training Act and amendments made by the Safety Act, we have a continuing duty to ensure all sworn law enforcement officers are free of any disqualifying criminal offenses as provided by statute. As for the village, they are appealing this decision. They will go before the state's board. That will happen on September 7th. Live in Riverside tonight, Tia Ewing, Fox 32 Chicago.
Lions and tigers and coy wolves. Oh my, the Burbridge Police Department issuing an unusual alert to residents tonight.
They say a coyote-wolf hybrid might have been spotted in the area. Casey Cronus is live with the very latest on this mysterious creature. Casey.
Dawn and Scott, we wish we had a photo to share of the animal, but so far residents haven't been able to capture one. So what is it? Well, experts say a coy wolf is more commonly known as an eastern coyote, but unlike the term suggests, it is not a 50-50 coyote-wolf mix, rather mainly a coyote with just a little bit of wolf gene influence.
In Burr Ridge, community members aren't looking for Waldo. Rather, where's the coy wolf?
This could be an animal that will act as an animal and not be respectful of little children or pets and harm them.
Mayor Gary Grasso says his wife laid eyes on the mysterious animal in their own backyard.
She did spot something. We do have a nice big backyard, and frequently we get deer and coyotes through here all the time, and she said, that is not a coyote.
After others reported seeing it, residents on Friday were alerted through a text.
Could it be? I suppose, but it's probably pretty unlikely.
Linda Painter, a DuPage County Forest Preserve commissioner, says it's more likely another combination.
What I've heard of in the past are hybrids of coyotes and German Shepherd dogs. And they tend to, because people have their German Shepherds in their backyards, the coyote can jump the fence.
She says that hybrid, dubbed a coy dog, tends to be bigger than a typical coyote.
And they tend to be a little bit more aggressive.
To play it safe, Painter says be on alert.
You know, if you've got little dogs, you know, keep them close in, put them on a leash. When I walk my dog, I carry my whistle.
So if you spot this animal, whatever the combination may be, don't approach it, and you are urged to report that sighting to your local authorities. Reporting live in DuPage County, Casey Cronus, Fox 32, Chicago.
A former Suburban police officer who can no longer work as a cop because of a crime she committed 15 years ago is getting more support. Tonight, Governor J.B. Pritzker is calling for her to be recertified. In a statement, he says in part, quote, as cities and municipalities across the state grapple with law enforcement officer shortages, it is critical that we uplift and support the men and women selflessly stepping up to do this essential work. He adds, quote, I hope the board will reverse their decision based on all the facts and circumstances presented by Officer Ramos. Zena Ramos was convicted of retail theft for stealing a T-shirt back in 2008. The charges were later dropped, and she served as a Cicero police officer before wanting to transfer to Riverside. But the Illinois Law Enforcement Training and Standards Board says she cannot be called to be a witness in any cases because of her past conduct, and therefore it disqualifies her.
Ready for the TV. Ready for you on TV.
Breaking news, a man is dead after a crash in Elk Grove Village. This was the scene at Devon and Nicholas Boulevard. Witnesses say the man's truck went under the semi-trailer. You see the debris scattered across the roadway from the violent collision. That road is still shut down tonight.
It seems there are more questions than answers tonight after two female fans were hit by a bullet while attending last night's Sox game at the Rate. Fox 32's Nate Rogers live tonight at the ballpark with new details he learned just moments ago. Nate?
Yeah, that's right, Dane. Absolutely. In fact, we just confirmed with CPS that one of the victims was a teacher or is a teacher at the Chicago Board of Education. The CPS sending a statement tonight saying that they're wishing that teacher a speedy recovery. But I got to tell you, still more questions and answers tonight. We heard from Sox representatives and from police today about this ordeal, but still many questions remain on how one woman was shot, another person grazed inside of the stadium.
We should have a better explanation.
within the stadium, bullets flying from the outside. I mean, come on, they know more than they're letting on.
White Sox fans shot inside Guaranteed Rate Field, but how did it happen?
They conferred with our security, and the feeling was that there was no active threat and that the ball game could continue.
The video here provided by the team shows somewhat of a reaction from the crowd. We also obtained this photo with blood near bleachers. Police say a 42-year-old woman was shot in the leg. A 26-year-old woman suffered a graze wound to the abdomen.
It's not clear where the bullet came from. There are no reports of any gunshots in our ballpark. So CPD continues to kind of investigate. And
it happened in the 4th inning Friday as the Sox took on the Oakland Athletics. Surprise to many, the game continued with most fans not knowing what took place.
Every scenario somebody comes up with seems crazy, but something happened, so we got to figure that out.
Is it likely with tens and thousands of people going into the stadium, attending the game, that sometimes weapons could be overlooked?
Well, it happens at the airport, so it can happen here.
Police have not said if the gunshots originated in the arena or came from afar.
It'd have to be some kind of trajectory to drop right down on somebody in those seats.
Guaranteed Rate Field employs the use of walk-through metal detectors at each entry gate.
At today's game, there was heightened security indeed, with K-9 units on hand. Fans also speculating if their safety was in danger.
We're not scared to be at the game today, but I kind of hope they beef up security.
And authorities telling us that 42-year-old woman was transported to the hospital. At last check, listed in fair condition. The 26-year-old woman, we're told, refused medical treatment. Chicago police telling us no suspects are yet in custody. That is the latest here outside of Guaranteed Rate Field. Nate Rogers, Fox 32 Chicago.